Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Today, a non-Inter related video. As you guys may know, I've always said that the goal of this channel actually is to try cover Serie A in general, but Inter just keeps me so busy that it becomes difficult to do. And before the season starts, I actually want to take a look at some Serie A teams, see what they're doing, see what they're cooking up. And today we're going to look at Fiorentina because they're going a little bit under the radar recently because of what Roma have been doing, obviously, with Dybala catching all the headlines, Napoli catching the negative headlines, Inter obviously a mixed bag, and Juve obviously the kings of the mercato up until now. But I wanted to look at Fiorentina because they are cooking some really interesting dish for this upcoming season. Italiano has been given some very good ingredients to cook with. I mean, let's have a look. The latest signing just the other day confirmed Dodo from Shakhtar Donetsk, not the Dodo that we remember from Inter, the guy who signed for Roma. I know Inter fans may have PTSD from that, but this is a up-and-coming Brazilian right back. Looks very good, you know, got a bit of pace, got a bit of trickery, skill, obviously. Typical Brazilian fullback, quite expensive, especially for Fiorentina. 13.05 million pound, which is probably around 14-15 million euros according to Transfermarkt. So big signing there because Odriozola has gone back from his loan stint to Real Madrid. Mandragora is another interesting one from Juventus, around 9 million euros. He had a good season for Torino. Torino wanted to keep him, but in the end Fiorentina managed to get him, and he's going to be playing either defensive midfield / mezzala, swapping between him and Amrabat. And with Torreira leaving, there was a slot in the team. Interesting signing because Mandragora is one of the reasons why we're so wary of these up-and-coming Italian midfielders, because there's been so many over the years that have been very promising in the young when they're coming up in the under-21s, especially. There's so many names that, the Basellis, the Castrovilli, Fiorentina himself. Mandragora was touted to be, one of the best elite talents that Italy has or had a few years ago, and it just hasn't quite worked out for him due to injuries and all that kind of stuff. But he's still a very talented technical player, so I'm excited to see what Italiano can do with him. But the one that we really need to talk about, man, Luka Jovic, a free transfer from Real Madrid. That is crazy. And, we can talk about the Lukaku deal being an absolute Marotta masterclass, after selling him 150 million euros, bringing him back on a loan for 8 million is absolute, all-time type of move. But what Fiorentina did for Jovic, I think this is even better because they've actually bought Jovic. There's not on loan. They've acquired Jovic's playing rights, but Real Madrid is still contributing to his wages. The only downside for Fiorentina in this is that if they ever sell Jovic, which I'm sure at some point they will, they have to give 50% of that sale value to Real Madrid. But what a deal that is, and that is the agent Fali Ramadani pulling the strings. That's what having good relations with some agents can help with. I know some people that watch my channel, some Inter fans, wanted Jovic at Inter, especially maybe not so recently, but over the last year or 2 years since he's flopped at Real Madrid. And I've always been, keen to see, can we save this guy's career, because he really needs to turn his career around. It's not just he didn't quite perform, he didn't fit in. This guy completely fell off the face of the earth almost. And we talked about it with Anthony on Football Worldwide recently. He also looks a little bit out of shape. It looks like he needs to lose a few kilograms. But what a signing that he could be, and definitely is an upgrade on Piontek that they had last season on loan. And of course, we'll see how him and Cabral will work, the two main strikers. But yeah, Fiorentina, man, is looking like an interesting team coming up for next season. And Gollini in goal. Last season, surprisingly, Terracciano was the number one because Italiano didn't rate Drongowski's footwork or his ball playing ability, which I don't blame him for. Inter fans have always had arguments on Twitter with Inter fans about Drongowski. I've never rated him as high as some people seem to do. He's a flashy, good shot stopper, but he's never convinced me too much. I think Inter fans love Drongowski because he's always performed really well against Inter. Italiano doesn't seem to rate him, and they brought in Gollini, who is another one that I don't particularly rate too highly, but I do think he is a good modern goalkeeper and better with his feet than Drongowski, so he should fit the style of Italiano better, and it should be an upgrade on Terracciano, who we saw, on that game against Milan, the last couple of games of the season, where he made that mistake and then, easily beaten by Leao. Golini didn't get too much space at Spurs. He was the second after Lloris, obviously, but he's 27. He's one of those players that, you always think he's young, he needs some time, but he's 27-year-old, which is young for a goalkeeper, Golini, or Glorious as his rapper name is. He is a rapper on the side, if you didn't know. Like, actually, I'm not joking, he's actually a rapper on as a side hustle. He needs to start making his gloves do the talking now rather than his mouth. I mean, let's not forget, Fiorentina last year already had a very impressive season, as we expected, and we knew they've always had a good squad that should have been top 10 in Serie A, but they've always been struggling. But Italiano managed to get the best out of that squad. They even finished above Atalanta. Let's not forget, they actually finished in the Conference League, so they will be in the Conference League ahead of Atalanta next year. So they do need to bolster the squad to be playing Serie A, Coppa Italia and Conference League, see how far they can get. And I think they should be able to get in the later stages of the Conference League, as Roma showed last year. It's a trophy that everyone laughs at the beginning, but by the end of it, if you get to the semi-final stage, you want to start getting there and winning it potentially, and that would be amazing for a club like Fiorentina, who do have good history. Fiorentina, they are a big club in Italy. According to Transfermarkt, another player they're rumored with is Dennis Pratt, who was at Torino last year. He's at Leicester City. He's another good midfielder who can double up even as a attacking midfielder / second striker kind of player. So that would be a good addition, again, just to bolster the squad. I think what they need to focus is just sorting out the back line. Milenkovic and Igor, plus Martinez Quarta. He's not a bad back line, but Milenkovic is rumored maybe to come to Inter. He's on the last year of his contract. I'm not sure if he's fully suited to playing a 4 at the back for. Igor was one of the most improved players of Serie A last season, but still, he was playing as a fullback for most of his career before. So that's where I would try to focus to see if they can get, another centre back to kind of take their defending to the next level. But this Fiorentina team look like a strong contender to keep within the top 7 again next season, and maybe even challenge for the Europa League spot. So I'm very interested to see what they do. Nico Gonzalez coming into his second season in Italy. Icone, who only had the 5-6 months in Serie A, didn't look great, but he needed that time to adapt, and this now he can maybe finally explode. Sottil, who was my player to watch pick from Fiorentina last year, one of the few ones that kind of didn't really hit the mark from my picks of Serie A players to watch from each team. But again, he still has the talent, so I'm interested to see if he finally manages to explode. But yeah, this Fiorentina team looks good. Last year was a team that I used to watch quite often, and I think I'll continue watching them. You guys let me know, where do you think Fiorentina could be ending up in Serie A next season? What do you make of the transfer market? What else should they be doing? And yeah, keep a lookout on the channel. I'll be making videos about the other top teams in Serie A and what they're cooking up this transfer window. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content. Let me know in the comments down below. But of course, at the end of the day, it's always Forza Inter. Ciao.